So officially, good evening and welcome to the 2024 Meet the Candidates Forum hosted by the Stewartville Area Chamber of Commerce. This event is obviously open to the public again this year, but we want to extend thanks to Chris Roberts up here in front. He's handling the media for us this evening, so people can still watch this online via YouTube. Want to thank our Chamber Board of Directors for volunteering their time toward the logistics of this evening, and to our candidates for taking the time out of their busy schedules for us to get to know them this evening. And that'll begin with our candidates for both City Council and Mayor. I will mention we have 3 of our 4 candidates for City Council with us this evening. Daniel Ware communicated that he was not able to attend tonight, but both candidates for Mayor are here and we'll be meeting them all shortly. Just so we all know, the questions that we'll start with were submitted from various members of the community, and they were consolidated into key topics. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to give a response to the initial question. Alicia over here is our time card person, and she will give a time card warning at 15 seconds and then a big red stop. Finish your thought, but let's not get the buzzer out and make her angry tonight, please. If a rebuttal to a response is requested, we would just ask that the candidates please raise their hand and we can stay on the topic for an additional 30 seconds for further discourse if that is needed. If there's enough time after the prepared questions, we'd ask the people in the audience you could submit additional questions on the paper provided, or if you just want to raise your hand after hearing what they have to say and have a question you want to ask. We're trying to keep this within an hour. But if we have enough time for that, we'll go ahead and do that as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into some of the questions here. So we'll start with our city council and the people closest to me. So Jeremiah, we'll let you go first. First question is, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Well, first off, thank you, Nick, and the Chamber for hosting this event. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be able to be here. My name is Jeremiah Olgin. I'm seeking re-election for City Council. I grew up in the area. I grew up in Racine, graduated from Stewartville High School in 1996, left, came back, left again, came back. For some reason, I always seem to end up back in Stewartville. So I've been here in my current residence now for about 15 years. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. And professionally, I work as a computer programmer for Mayo Clinic, and I like to volunteer and be involved in my community.
Hello, I'm Brent Beyer. I am a Stewartville transplant that came to Stewartville in 2010, looking for a community closer to Rochester, but also a small town feeling that we were wanting. Aaron and I have 5 kids, 4 that have gone through the Stewartville School District, and 1 that is currently in 8th grade. I was on the Stewartville Fire Department for 12 years and had to recently retire due to medical reasons. Currently, I work as a journeyman electrician and have been for 24 years. I also work for the Minnesota Fire Certification Board and am responsible for testing of applicants in Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 skills. When I'm not at city council meetings, city board meetings, I enjoy watching the Stewartville High School sport events with Aaron and any of my kids that will go with us.
I'm Jeff Harrison, running for city council. I was born and raised down by St. Charles on a farm. My wife and I and 2 daughters moved to Stewartville in 1989. At that time, I was working in manufacturing out at Lake Center Industries, and ended up not being there anymore in 1995 when they actually closed their doors. At that time, I went to work for Lampert's for a couple of years, Geotech for a couple of years, Podine's for 6 years, and then was hired by People Service to operate the wastewater plant here in Stewartville for 9 years, and then spent 8 years operating the plant for actually the city of Stewartville. I'm a retired firefighter. I was on the fire department for 21 years and also involved in their charitable gambling portion of the organization. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
All right, and on to our mayoral candidates. Please tell us a little bit about yourselves. Matt, starting with you.
Yeah, my name is Matt Hugenvik, and 22 years ago, my wife and I chose Stewartville to be the place that we would start our family. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made. I absolutely love it here and can't wait to serve even more here. We have 2 children that have grown up here in Stewartville. One graduated in 2023, and my daughter is currently a junior in the high school here still. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in Biology and Chemistry from Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, and I've been employed at the Mayo Clinic for just over 23 years. 20 of those years I spent in the Department of Laboratory Medicine and Pathology, where I worked in both the laboratory and as a business analyst supporting IT solutions. And I've been now 3 years in actual IT, serving as an enterprise IT architect. I have a soul for service, and I currently volunteer in many capacities all throughout this community and beyond, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to take my service up to the next level as your next mayor.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you. Just like Jeremiah said, thank you for doing this to Chamber. My name's Jimmy John King. I am the current mayor, not the guy with the sandwiches. I run a farm, the family farm. My grandson that lives in this town will be the 7th generation that has lived in this community or been part of this community. I've been the mayor now for the past 16 years. I graduated from Stewartville. I got married in Stewartville. I live in Stewartville. My wife was from Stewartville. She's put up with me for 48 years. I've had just the greatest opportunity in my life the last 16 years to serve this community. With the outstanding people we have in this town and the people that are around us, I would like to ask for one more time. There's some things that need to be finished up. We're on a roll. We're going to keep that roll going. So I guess you could say I'm older than dirt, been here forever, plan on staying no matter what. So thanks a lot.
Okay, well, Jimmy John, I'm going to let you hang on to the microphone. We'll move on to our next question, which asks, what skills and or experience qualify you to serve? We'll start with the mayor candidates first, so Jimmy John. And additionally, what interests you about this position, and what do you hope to accomplish?
Well, like I said, I've been the mayor for 16 years now. I'm running for another term. We've accomplished many great things. We have a outstanding council and staff that we're working with, and they've carried this community into the future. I started out by saying when I started this that this was the 2nd largest community in Olmsted County. A lot of people laughed. I want to tell you something. The 1st largest community in Stewartville now, or in Olmsted County, now pays attention to the 2nd largest. They know we're here. We've done some great things. I plan on continuing to do some great things in this community.
Matt, same question.
I think I have many skills that lend myself to being a good mayor. I have a wealth of leadership experience in nonprofits, all at the local, district, state, and even international level. Through that experience, I've developed a great understanding of Robert's Rules of Order, how to read Constitution, bylaws, and governing documents, how to run effective meetings, how to work as a team for a common goal. I'm an excellent communicator. I'm an analytical thinker that always does research and tries to come prepared for discussions. I'm approachable, I'm kind, I'm compassionate. I'm a servant leader that believes that the role of the leader is at the heart, the role of a servant. It is my job to make sure that everybody else becomes better and that they find fulfillment and joy in the service that they're doing while being effective at a high level as well. And finally, I'm a lifetime learner that's always adding new tools to my toolbox, and I can't wait to continue the role that we are on, because I do think Stewartville's been doing a lot of great things.
All right, thank you. Moving on to our city council candidates. Jeff, we'll start with you. What skills and or experience qualify you to serve as a city council member, and what are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, I did, as I mentioned earlier, spent 21 years on the Stewartville Fire Department. I retired from that 10 years ago, but continue to do the charitable gambling thing, of which I've been involved with for 19 years. That gives me a lot of exposure to the community. I'm out and about quite a bit. As a city employee, it kind of gave me an opportunity to become familiar with how the city operates, how local government works a little bit. I'm a firm believer in, if there's an issue going on, we have to investigate it, do a little research, some problem solving, come up with a rational decision as to how we can take care of things. I like to gather some of the facts and study on what kind of an effect it's going to have on the community. Is it going to be positive or negative? Make your decisions based on that.
All right, Brent, same question.
I feel I have a healthy and good relationship with the mayor, the other council members, city department heads, and city employees because of serving the last 8 years on the council. I have previously served on the P&Z board, the library board, the park board, the rental housing board, finance committee, and public works committee. I was a 12-year member of the Stewartville Fire Department and First Responders. I previously served on the Hayfield City Council, 12 years on the Hayfield Fire Department, 12 years on the Hayfield Volunteer Ambulance, and 4 years on the Fieldcrest Nursing Home Board in Hayfield.
And last but not least, Jeremiah.
All right. Well, so as I started saying in my introduction, I've had a long history of volunteering in my community. I started out as doing emergency communications work way back when I was a teenager, skywarn spotting, stuff like that. And that's always been a passion of mine. I've had a lot of experience as well with being on various boards, library board, planning and zoning, park board, etc., just like Brent has. But most importantly, I think I'll just tell you all what I've been told is I listen. I'm a good listener. I listen to people, and if you have an issue, I'm willing to hear it out. So.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. So many of our community questions centered around the topic of housing. So that is going to be where our next few questions center. And I'll stay on the city council side. And Brent, I'll let you go first on this one. What is your evaluation of the housing market in Stewartville right now?
All right. I feel the housing market in Stewartville has been good for many years. I know in my neighborhood, the houses have been selling quick and getting asking price or even over asking price. I guess the big question or a lot of comments that people have are about new developments, but new developments are tough in this town due to the fact that the land is locked by the homeowners. But overall, the housing market has been great in this town.
Jeff, what are your thoughts or what's your evaluation of the housing market?
Well, I think the housing market is been fairly strong. Yes, it could be stronger. I think there's an opportunity to possibly look into some incentives for builders and buyers to open up some options for people to purchase new or existing homes or properties. Yet we need to be really cautious about this because anytime you offer an incentive, that incentive causes another burden on the taxpayer because where's this money coming from? It's not coming out of anybody's pocket but yours and mine. So I think we just need to take a cautious look at some of those things. Subsidizing can be good. There again, it costs the taxpayer. That being said, it really doesn't matter what race, color, creed you are. It's all the same problem. So, thank you.
All right, and Jeremiah, we'll let you back clean up here for the city council candidates. Your evaluation of the housing market in Stewartville.
Sure. Yeah, I think we've got a strong market, good opportunities for people to move here still. It's not like it was 15 years ago when there were more houses than there were buyers, but people that have houses for sale are definitely selling them, and there's opportunities. So yeah, I think we can be confident that we can grow strong and continue selling some of the lots that are out there available for development, and as time goes on, evaluate more expansion.
All right, on to our mayor candidates. Matt, we'll start with you.
All right.
Your evaluation of the housing market.
I'm going to take a little bit different approach to this. My analysis of the current housing market here in Stewartville is I don't think we have enough affordable housing to meet the demand for the market. Affordable housing is typically calculated at 30% or less of disposable income, and if we use the mean numbers for the city from the comprehensive plan of $74,363 and assume that that's a 6% interest on the loan, that means that you're going to be able to afford about a $310,000 mortgage unless you put 20% down, and then it bumps up to like $380,000, $390,000. If you look on Realtor.com right now, there's 1 house, 2 townhomes, and 5 mobile homes in Stewartville that are available that are under $320,000. The majority of the homes are well over $350,000. So if we want the workers for the new businesses we're adding to be able to afford a house here in town, we need to do something about making those cheaper homes available.
Jimmy John, go ahead.
The housing market in Stewartville is outstanding. Don't put your house on the market if you don't want to sell it. Matt is right. There's a shortage. There's going to be a bigger shortage. The problem is, what are we going to do about it? We can't do anything about inflation. We can't do anything about interest. We can't do anything about the price of gas, diesel, fuel, anything you talk about. We have no control over it. Now, that being said, I will agree with everything Jeff said. Anything you ask the city to do will cost you, the taxpayers. Okay, you're looking at the other class of people you need to be looking at is not only the first home buyers, the senior citizens. That's the class of people everybody's forgetting about. If you can get us into a decent sized, moderately priced home, that opens up a whole nother layer of first homes for people that are in that $300,000 range or wherever you want to be at. Now, until somebody else above us can do something about inflation and interest and everything else, it's a bad scene, but there's not a lot the city can do. We're looking at different zoning ordinances. We're looking at things to possibly make it affordable.
So you touched on some of the efforts, and I'll let you hang on to the microphone here, Jimmy John. We were going to ask about if you think there is a shortage of housing, what efforts can be made in order to help the cause, and then would you consider incentivizing builders and developers to help Stewartville grow? If so, how would that look?
The only real thing we can do besides some zoning changes and moving some people around and to incentivize a little bit, we can look at tax abatement, we can look at TIF, we can look at things like that, where we get the money back, but we got to up front give a little to them. But when it comes to giving money out, if you offer me $1 million, I'll start building houses in Stewartville. But the taxpayers are going to pay me that $1 million, and then they're going to wait whatever it takes. If we're lucky, a couple years. If not, 30 years for that money to come back. I don't think we should be out bonding and borrowing money to bring developers and builders. We've got meetings coming right up with developers and builders that want to be in our community for the fact that we know our industrial side is growing so fast and the people are going to be here. They want to be in Stewartville. Now, I don't know if it's a great idea right now to be talking about giving them money to come here, but when the people get here, the builders will show up.
Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually think that the efforts that are outlined in the comprehensive plan actually are really spot on with how we can approach these problems. Things like looking at different ways of zoning, looking at medium density zone areas that have both a benefit both to the developers coming in as well as to the city from a tax-based perspective. I think there's a lot of things that we can be utilizing in federal grant programs like the low-income house tax credit or even some of the remaining funds that are available in the American Rescue Plan Act. As far as incentivizing, I think that probably needs to be some incentivizing of builders and developers in order to get houses built at the price points that we need them to get rid of the shortage of low-income housing. And I agree that we can use TIF and tax abatements, but those might not be the best for these types of developments. But there are other programs that we can look at too, and there's possibly even grants that are non-traditional that we should be looking at to do those.
All right, we'll bring that question over to our city council candidates. Jeremiah, we'll start with you. Again, if you believe there's a shortage of housing, what efforts could be made in order to help the cause, and would you consider incentivizing builders and developers to help Stewartville grow, and how would that look?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'll just touch on what incentives we could we could bring in. From my standpoint, you know, if we were to reduce or eliminate some of the development fees, I could see that as being a benefit. I'm not 100% sold yet that that's necessary, but that's something that we could always keep in mind.
There is a housing shortage all over the United States and here in Stewartville. The city currently pushes people that contact them about housing to developers or builders. The city puts up a booth at the Rochester Home Show. When a developer calls into the city staff gives them the name and numbers to all the landowners that own the land around Stewartville. Unfortunately, the landowners that surround the city are currently not interested in selling their land right now. And when I think of incentivizing, I always think of when we do our street projects, when we have the community session, the homeowners, when we tell them what they owe for their portion of the streets, they do not like the $4,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 to $8,000 bill that's coming their way for a new street and new water and sewer. So now if we put that burden on the taxpayers, they don't want to pay that money. So to incentivize would be pretty tough right now, especially in today's economy.
Jeff, your thoughts?
Well, it all comes back down to what kind of a tax burden do we want to put on our community. You can give people incentives, you can do all sorts of things, but at the end of the day, it costs everybody something. There is a need for newer homes for younger people and older people. I, for instance, own an older home. If I sell that, where am I gonna go? It's gonna cost me more to go move someplace as a retired person than what I'm gonna get for my home. A lot of people, myself included, don't wanna pay extra to move on as an older person, so now you've kind of locked that portion of the market into place. Unfortunately, you can't build new homes for the prices that you can sell an older home for.
All right, Jimmy John, you have a response that you'd like to?
I'd just like to say one thing. In the past,
Can you hold the mic, please? Sorry.
in the past several years, to be real honest with you, we haven't had a lot of people come to City Hall and ask for lower priced homes. We've had any number of people, young people, coming in wanting higher priced homes. They want the $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 home. They're not coming here looking for the $300,000, $250,000 home. That's all I want to say.
All right, so our last question on the housing topic, we'll stay on the city council side for this one, and Jeff, we'll start with you. What programs would you support to help the BIPOC or the AK, also known as the Black, Indigenous, and People of Color community, and or the bottom 30% of income earners to be able to own homes here in Stewartville?
There again, it comes down to what are you gonna give homeowners and builders for incentives? It's a tax burden. I don't really think it matters what race, color, creed you are. It's a problem for everybody in this room. If you wanna purchase a new home, build a new home, any kind of a program you can come up with to try and help people out would definitely be welcomed in the community. I can't answer you to tell you exactly what that might be, though.
All right, Brent, same question.
There is not much the city itself currently does, but maybe creating a more robust resource center on the city's website and working with the Housing Development Authority to target homes eligible for the first-time home buyers. Also, there is grants available for this, but the actual home buyer must apply for these, not the city.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I highly encourage anyone who's interested in home ownership to pursue that. If there are programs and things out there from HUD and other places for people who are underserved, and anyone who is eligible for those programs, I would highly encourage them to apply.
All right, we'll go to our mayor candidates. Matt, go ahead with your thoughts.
Sure. I think at the local level, we could offer some support in the sense of maybe looking to establish a housing trust or something like that, and making funds available through grants and/or paying closing costs kind of thing. But again, you got to get that money from somewhere to create that trust. There is a national down payment assistance program that offers targeted specific usage to the BIPOC community and the low-income families in order to get assistance with down payments as well as closing costs for first-time homeowners. The Housing Choice Voucher System is available for the BIPOC community to look at transitioning from renting homes to owning homes by helping with assistance for mortgage payments. And there's also all kinds of state things. There's a first generation home buyer program that offers loan assistance. There's the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency that has all kinds of opportunities. And the government itself offers things like FHA, VA, and USDA development loans.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy John.
Well, I'm going to start by saying something. I don't know what. I'm getting a little tired of everybody using initials. These are Americans we're talking about. They want to come to our community. We welcome to our community. We don't care. If you look up and down our main street right now, if you haven't been paying attention, we've got all kinds of nationalities owning businesses and living in this community right now. They don't come here seeking help. They come here, they want a home. They want to be part of this community. They enjoy the lifestyle here. Now, we do have a housing department. We have a young lady that works on that. We have an EDA. We have an HRA. If you can get your foot in the door through some of these programs the others have mentioned, we can help you with some things. Maybe we can help you with windows. Maybe we can help you with this. If you want the HRA to start handing out money, which we can do, we got to levy money. And in order to levy money, that means we're going to raise taxes. And we worked real hard so far this year to lock our taxes no higher than a 3% increase. Now, if you want a 15, 20, 30% increase, let us know. It'll make it a lot easier for a lot of people.
All right, I think we can turn the page, at least for the time being, on housing. In recent years, and we'll start with our mayor candidates, Jimmy John, you can go first on this one. The city's updated its comprehensive plan via community engagement, including surveys and an open house. So what activities, amenities, and or events would you support to continue to grow the community and engagement?
To continue to grow the engagement from the community?
Sure.
And in 16 years I've been mayor, we've tried everything to get the community to engage. The chamber has tried numerous other things to get the community engaged. Right now, what I see might be the biggest engagement we can do is in the summer when we have our free concerts, we get a heck of a crowd out there. Maybe we do our surveys out there. Maybe we ask questions out there. We get a lot of people enjoy that every week. It's a knockout. If that's what we got to do, I guess that's what we got to do. Maybe we got to put an event down at the pool, but for some reason, we've tried mailings, we've tried everything. We've mailed people, every person in this town, a card. And if we get 250 back, we think we hit a home run. I would enjoy much more because we have so many great citizens with so many great ideas in this community. They need to get on board and let us know what they are, because we'll work to try and work with them to do whatever they want done. But we got to know what they want done.
All right, Matt, same question.
All right, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the first part of that question, which was what would I support in the comprehensive plan to grow the community. I think one of the things that's striking to me is that in the comprehensive plan there's a lot of conversation about use of the civic center and the needs for the civic center, yet here we are in a situation where we're looking to sell the civic center, and I understand the reasons behind that and that the library expansion plan is going to cover some of those needs, but I think that we need to look hard about if there's facilities like field houses or teen centers or other amenities like that that provide spaces for social interaction that would help the community get along and grow better. Also, I think we need to pursue more cultural events and festivals and art exhibits like the mural that's going up downtown right now. I'd like to see the completion of the bike and trail connections beyond the city that we've been talking about. And finally, in the plan, there's talk about the possible need for a new municipal well and the facility plan needing to be updated to support that if we are going to continue to grow, and I would like to see that work done soon too.
All right, we'll ask our city council. Jeremiah, we'll let you start on this one. So again, city's updated its comprehensive plan via community engagement with surveys in the open house, but what else do you think could be done?
Yeah, so I guess I look at this question and I think back to what went um, into the comprehensive plan, and some of the things that we have been doing. We in improving our parks and trails, and those are things that in those engagements that the participants that were there, those were the things that they told us that they liked. One other thing that I remember reading in there was how we could use more focus on the historical aspects of the town, and you know, our history is where we came from, and it's part of our story, and we've got a very active group of people who on Facebook are posting historical pictures and stuff, and so I'd like to see a little bit more of that as well.
Being part of the council and park board, I'm proud of the amphitheater project we did. It has been successful, and many citizens from Stewartville and surrounding communities have really enjoyed it. Last year, we added concession stand and bathrooms. We had a new park out at Schumann Rolling Ridge. The city, along with the skate park committee, added a new skate park. We are looking at adding to our wonderful library. The chamber puts on many community events throughout the year. The local community organizations and local churches put on different community events throughout the year. The city and community are always looking for ideas to better the citizens of Stewartville. So it's just up to the citizens to let us know what they are looking for and to participate in what we do put on.
All right, Jeff, same question.
I guess I'd just like to add on to what Mark said here, is that some of the things that we need to take a look at in our community, I believe, is a sports center of some sort where people can go in and play basketball, volleyball, pickleball, you name it. Make it tennis. I don't care. Make it a multi-use facility. It does come at a cost. We've been very fortunate throughout this region to have a lot of businesses that have helped partake in doing things like that. You can't beg them forever, but they're willing to help. We've seen these kinds of facilities and stuff take off in other communities, and they can't find enough time during the day for everybody to utilize it. They're packed. I just think that would be a good asset for our community, along with expanding the trails and such that we have. We've got a wonderful system. Let's keep it going.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So let's move on to our businesses in town. We'll keep things on the city council side and start with you, Jeff. Do you think our Main Street or downtown is healthy and successful? And are there any changes that you would like to see and reasoning behind that?
You know, without diving into it real deep, but I think the businesses are surviving. Are they thriving? In some cases, yes. Some cases, no. I do think that the lack of visible parking downtown actually is a burden to our businesses, because people can't just pull up and go in without walking 1 block, 2 blocks, whatever. Unfortunately, a lot of our parking is behind the buildings. People coming through town don't see that. And henceforth, some of our community has just become a pass-through community. People from south of here or north of here, whatever, going to work, they're not willing to stop in town because they see no place where they can park and just jump out and go into a business.
Brent, go ahead.
Currently, downtown only has 3 empty buildings for sale. Over the last 8 years, 2 of those buildings could have been sold more than once, but the building owner chose not to sell them. So I believe our downtown has been doing okay. For example, in the last year, the block by the City Hall, Darling Bakery moved in, the Dollar Store remodeled and reopened, the Napa building just sold and will reopen next month, and a boutique opened. The city, the EDA, and the chamber have done a great job helping businesses, not only downtown, but at both industrial parks and Schumann Park.
Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Yeah, if you take a look at Main Street, just walk along and look at there's new businesses, which is really great, and that's great to see. Number one, people coming in and investing in Stewartville. They obviously have faith in the community, and so I think that's a good sign. There's also a lot of businesses that have been here a long time that have thrived and even expanded. Even if they maybe have recently changed ownership, or things of that nature. So you've got like the Dairy Queen just went through a remodel. Podine's on the other end of Main Street expanded their business over the years. And those are just two examples that I can think of to show that other than a few gaps, Main Street's actually not doing too bad.
All right, we'll ask our mayor candidates. Matt, we'll start with you. So what do you think about our Main Street and downtown? Is it healthy and successful? And are some things you'd like to see changed?
Yeah, so I think the health of our downtown is improving drastically. I think we've had businesses like Root River Dental, Cabin Coffee, First Alliance Credit Union, Black Diamond Armory, House Chevrolet, and Podine's have all built new buildings, renovated old buildings, or expanded their footprints. And many other improvements are going on right now if you drive down Main Street. But with those, there are also things that still need to be done. We still have vacant buildings. We still have buildings that need TLC. We still have buildings for sale. And we still have owners that are concerned that higher taxes that are coming down the pipe are going to drive them out of business. So how do we get healthier? Well, I think we need to make downtown more pedestrian friendly for foot traffic. I think we need to work with MnDOT and other agencies to see if we can develop safe crossings of Highway 63 at 4th Street Northeast on Lakeshore Drive, and again on 4th Street Southeast here going to the pool. I think we need to continue our efforts to work with businesses to improve our signage so that motorists passing it through want to stop and shop. And I think we need to find other ways for us to be advocates for our local businesses at the county and state level to help them keep their taxes lower.
All right, and Jimmy John, same question.
I send my congratulations out to every businessman in this community and businesswomen. In this global market that they have to deal in, I feel Stewartville is thriving. And part of that is because of the businessmen and women we have know how to do it. They know how to market, they know how to do it. As far as parking, we have more parking in this community than we ever had when we had parking on Main Street. You gotta remember, when we had parking on Main Street, you could park 1 or 2 cars in front of that business, you're still gonna walk a block and a half to the next one. Secondly, we're global. You go out in our industrial park, we've got global businesses out there. Not just local, not national, they're global. We're huge. Stewartville's a big deal, and our community shows it, our downtown shows it. I just congratulate them all. As far as a couple buildings that need fixing up, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Let's put it that way. And one of them that's for sale, Tigan's, a new warehouse was put up out in the industrial park. They are right now redoing theirs, and it's for sale, and it'll bring good money.
All right. So let's move on. We'll keep it on the mayor's side, and Jimmy John, you can go first here. What do you see as Stewartville's biggest strength currently?
Our biggest strength is sitting in this room right now. It's our citizens. It's our civic groups. It's our chamber. It's our council. It's our public works. You take our department heads down there. We got over 100 years combined. You can't buy that kind of experience. You can't buy that anywhere. They know what needs to be done. They get it done. We've got volunteers up the kazoo in this town. We couldn't run this town without the volunteers that are on P and Z and all the different boards and commissions, the library board, park boards. It's the people are our strongest. That is absolutely the answer. Our second best deal is our location. Highway 63, Highway 90, the Rochester Airport, just a mile down the road, and you couldn't have a better location. That's why these people and businesses want to be here. They can get anywhere they need to go in a matter of seconds from this town. But the people are it. Nick, you know that. You're a people guy.
Sure, thank you. Matt, same question.
I couldn't agree more. The people are absolutely, without a doubt, our biggest strength. This community loves each other. We take care of each other. We support each other. We support each other's children. This is never more evident than if you ever travel to a away sporting event, and oftentimes Stewartville, as the away team, has more people than the hometown does. And that says something. It says an awful lot about this community. This past week, the firefighters had the annual pancake breakfast. 731 people showed up. We have hundreds of people, if not thousands, that turn out for benefits when one of us is ill and needs to raise funds for treatments. There are hundreds of people that are constantly serving in many volunteer capacities that want to just make this a better place to live. So I couldn't agree any more that without a doubt our people and this community as a whole is our greatest asset and strength.
The football team's won 20 in a row. Like, we can, fist pump for that too. City Council, we'll move it to you. Brent, we'll let you go first on this one. What do you see as Stewartville's biggest strength currently?
Our biggest strengths are the people of Stewartville, the mayor, fellow council members, the city staff, including Public Works and the library, the volunteers in the fire department, the volunteers that make up the boards and the commission that help come up with the ideas and plans for the city. We are also fortunate for the many businesses and the great business owners in town. People have to remember that many of these businesses are international businesses that are all over the world. Also, for a great school district, we have a waiting list to get in for open enrollment, which means a lot to the community.
Jeff, we'll let you go next.
Well, I don't know what I can say that the rest of them haven't said, and I agree with 100% of it. I think we just need to keep in mind that we do have a very strong business involvement and a lot of support for all of our local organizations, our schools, everything. Our businesses have been very supportive, and these organizations and benefits physically and financially and should be praised for everything they're doing for the rest of our community and the volunteers to go along with it.
Jeremiah, go ahead.
Well, I guess I can't really add much. Yeah, because I was gonna say basically the same thing everyone else did up here. The people of Stewartville is what makes Stewartville such a great place. I think it's why I kept coming back. It's why other people come here. It's just makes it amazing. I mean, I look at the different volunteer groups. Somebody said something to me the other day. They couldn't believe how many different volunteer groups there are in town. You have, when there's a big storm, whether it's a snowstorm, I watched one of my neighbors take his snowblower and do the entire block just because it hadn't been done yet. We see neighbors helping each other clean up down trees and things after a summer storm. It just the sense of community you get here is second to none. So I think that there's not much more I can say than that.
Jimmy John has his hand raised, so go ahead. You have 30 seconds.
The one thing I thought that Jeremiah would add that needed to be added was, just like he is the son of the American Legion. And we have a very strong Legion. We have a very strong VFW. We have some of the greatest heroes in the world living right in our community. It's like the History Channel come to life when these guys come out and help do stuff. So hats off to them too.
Well, now that we're all feeling great about our community, let's ask about change, shall we? We'll start on the city council side. Jeremiah, you can go first. What are the top 2 changes you would like to see for our community, and why?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there's not much that I want to see change. I like the direction we're going. My outlook on life is look at which direction you're moving, not where you're standing. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, and I think if what we're doing is working, let's just keep doing it that way.
Brent, go ahead. Same question.
Instead of change, I'm going to go with hope. The 2 things that I hope. I've heard many people over the years want a home-style cafe. But like always, citizens must support it so it will stay healthy and vibrant. Second would be Hope, a farmer that has land around Stewartville, be willing to develop their land for the city of Stewartville.
All right, and Jeff, top 2 changes you would like to see for our community and why?
I don't really see any major changes that need to be done. Really, that you can improve on things in all aspects if you really put your mind to it. Some of the things that I'm concerned with is the speed that traffic goes down Main Street. When I'm going, and I'll admit it, 31 miles an hour, and they drive by me like I'm standing still, that concerns me. When you get to the Highway 63 and 4th Street Southeast intersection where you've got a building right on the corner, and you can't hardly get across that intersection. We've got children going to the swimming pool. That concerns me. One of the things I think we need to take a look at and just don't always follow Rochester's lead. Let's be leaders, not followers. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our mayor candidates. So, Matt, we'll have you go first on this one. 2 changes you'd like to see for our community and why?
Well, again, I'm kind of following a similar pattern here. I didn't really concentrate so much on change versus constant improvement. I think we always need to be building upon what we already have. So 2 of the things that I would like to see continued building upon and improving on is the engagement and collaboration between the city and our local school, as well as the relationship and the engagement between the city and the community. And again, we've heard already that we've tried a lot of things for the community engagement and haven't always been successful in that, but there's no harm in continuing to try. I think that together we can look and find opportunities and partnerships for cooperation between the city and the school that can be mutually beneficial for both the school district and for the community at large. I think as far as improving the engagement of the community, I think we can look for better ways to push communication out to the residents, to find ways to update our website for ease of use and fix the broken and missing links that are on the website currently. And we should be looking to inspire our community members to want to step forward and volunteer and be candidates for things like this and to give back to the community, because if our people is our greatest strength, the more we are united like that, the sky's the limit for what this community can achieve.
Jimmy John, same question.
I'm going to start out by giving Brent a hard time because he's heard it, Craig's heard it, Jeremiah's heard it. The reason farmers don't want to sell their land is because we're busy helping America. We're producing the safest food, fuel, fiber, and pharmaceuticals in the entire world to keep this free country strong and going great. Now, that being said, 2 things I would like to see, and we are working on one of them right now, is a library expansion. People have asked for it. We're working on it. The other thing I'd like to see is we're going to have to expand the pool. We need to look into that. Now, these are all quality of life issues. But part of the reason people come to Stewartville, not only for our schools, but is for the quality of life issues, like our parks, our amphitheater, our pool. Our pool is still one of the most used pools in the entire southeast region. We have been in the black for the last 15 years. We've made money on that pool. That is unheard of on any pool anywhere. That being said, I want to thank every one of you for being here. I want to thank everybody out there in TV land. If you see a farmer tomorrow, thank him for helping America.
Well, and that wraps up the prepared question portion of this. We do still have some time. So, Alicia, did anybody turn in any questions? We got one. I can come over and gather those too, or drop them off. All right. How good's your handwriting? Okay. Okay.
What can the city do for that building to make it become assisted living again? Is there anything we can do as a city?
Anybody want to volunteer to tackle that first?
Well, we own the property that building sits on, Julie. You know that. We don't own the building. We don't run the building. We can, as a city and the council, or we can send the administrator over, we can speak to the board about making part of it back into assisted living. I thought the way it was set up right now, it's not really assisted, but you could hire more done if you wanted to.
As far as I know, that there is no assisted. Nobody goes over there from
Okay.
You know, because like you and I, we could end up being there, but there's nowhere for me to go if I sell my house.
Yep.
So this assisted living was a real good thing,
Yep.
but since it was taken away because of lack of staff is what I understand.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a real thing.
Well, everything went south during COVID. You know that. But I mean, we can take a look into that for you and see what's going on.
And that would be at least a place to start with
Yep.
some assisted living because
Right.
people are needing that. We're gonna all need
Well, that's another form of affordable housing. You're exactly right. That's things we need to look at. You're correct. Anybody else want to tackle that?
Did that just change? Because I know a few years ago for the fire department, a nurse or somebody used to call for help over there.
It's been a while. Well, when Gene left, or before Gene left, it was already taken away.
Because I know for a fact that we'd respond from a nurse calling, checking on a resident.
Yeah, but it's not assisted living anymore. They might once in a while, I don't know if they actually do that, or if there's a reason that people are able to call, I don't know. I know that the fire department does respond there quite a
Yep,
bit,
yep.
but it's not technically anymore assisted living.
Any other thoughts on the topic? If not, any other questions? I guess we're in a tight enough space. If people want to raise their hand, they can ask. I'm not the auctioneer up here, but oh, go ahead, Jen.
I do have one, but not as the Stewartville Star Reporter.
Okay.
Off the record.
Well, it's on video, so probably not off the record.
I have a question about the lot where the old preschool used to be. Yes,
You're talking about the one next to Quick Trip, correct, Jen? Yep.
Okay. So
yes, there's a big empty lot there.
Yep.
Sorry, Claudia, I'm gonna bring it up because you work there. That road is extremely dangerous in the winter. My street, Fifth Street Northeast. I discussed it actually with Justin the other night at the city council meeting. It gets slippery in the winter. There's cars on both sides of it in the winter. Traffic flies in and out of Quick Trip like maniacs, where I've almost gotten hit more times than I like to admit. Why can't we use that lot for parking for their employees?
They'd have to talk to the owners of that lot. That is owned by a private individual or a private company. They own it, they have plans for it, they've shown us the plans for it. So I guess I can tell you this much, Jen. I'll contact the company that owns it and see if something can be, move forward on that. It's not a bad idea, it's just sitting there. That's why they took the building down.
Well, I just feel like it's safer if they have a place to park
Yep.
their cars. They're actually on a building block.
Yep,
Dead end
no,
sign.
I get it. I'll do that for you. I'll do that this next week. As long as no Oakland Raider fans park there.
they are in Las Vegas now, just so, if that makes a difference. But any other thoughts on that subject from any of our candidates? All right. Well, gentlemen, we want to thank you again for your time and your candor this evening and sharing your thoughts. Again, Election Day is November 5th. We have 2 spots open for City Council and obviously 1 spot for Mayor. And so we appreciate you coming here and letting the public get to know you. Appreciate Chris, again, getting this up on YouTube so people can watch from home and rewatch and laugh at all the fun moments we had this evening as well. So we'll wrap up this for now. School board is coming up here at 7:30. So again, gentlemen, thank you. And those of you watching at home, you can stay tuned. We'll turn it over. Thanks. we're good to go. So, good evening and welcome back to the 2024 Meet the Candidates Forum hosted by the Stewartville Area Chamber of Commerce. This event is open to the public and we have some people here, but we also want to extend thanks to Chris Roberts for handling the media for us this evening so people can watch this online on YouTube, live and archived after tonight as well. Thanks to our Chamber Board of Directors for volunteering their time towards the logistics of this evening, and to our candidates for taking the time for us to get to know them this evening. We have 3 candidates vying for 3 spots in this school board election, so we appreciate you all showing up to keep the community informed. The questions that we will start with have been submitted by various members of the community and consolidated into some key topics. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to give a response to the initial question. Alicia Nelson, our timekeeper, will give time card warnings at 15 seconds as well as a stop. If a rebuttal to a response is requested, we just ask the candidates please raise their hand, just like you would in school, right? And we can stay on the topic for an additional 30-second response. If there is enough time after the prepared questions, people in the audience can submit additional questions on the paper provided from Alicia, or maybe we'll just say them because it's a small enough room. So if everybody is good on the rules, we can go ahead and get started. We'd ask you to please hold your mics while you're speaking as well for the people at home on the live stream. We'll start nearest to me, Aaron Lauman. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Pleasant Valley with my wife Christina and our daughter Isabel. I'm a farmer, so I raise hogs and we do row crops and I sell a little bit of seed.
All right. Nicole Raymaker.
I have note cards because I don't want to forget to tell you all the awesome things about myself. I have lived here my entire life. I'm married to my husband, Ryan, for just 1 year now. And between the two of us together, we have 4 kids, one 18-year-old at college, one 18-year-old senior, a 16-year-old sophomore, and a almost 13-year-old 7th grader. So I have my hands full and a lot of events to attend, which gets me inside the schools as often as I can. I'm on a number of boards around town. I am recently the vice president of the Legion Auxiliary, so that has been really fun to learn how that works. And I've been on the school board since 2016. I've done daycare for 18 years in my home, and I absolutely love my job. And some of you in this room, I have had some of your grandchildren or children. And I'm a huge Vikings fan, and that is why I have purple and gold note cards.
Skol. All right. Will Welch.
Thank you, Chris, Nick, and Alicia for putting this together tonight, inviting us, and allowing us to share a little bit about ourselves. Much appreciated. You know my name, I guess, Will Welch. I've been in Stewartville for about 24 years, most of my adult life. I'm married to my wife, Jill. We have 3 daughters, all of which who have graduated, gone through the Stewartville school system. One left in college. Looking forward to that being over, but they're all doing great. I've been on the board with Nicole since 2016. It's been a great experience, not only getting to know Nicole and the rest of the board members, but just being able to serve the community in that respect. I too have been on many volunteer boards and committees over the years. Professionally, I work for Quick Trip. I've been with Quick Trip 26 years. I supervise all the stores around Rochester. Nothing in Rochester, but the ones around Rochester.
All right, thank you. Nicole, I'll let you go first on this next one. What skills and or experience qualify you to serve as a school board member? And additionally, what interests you about this position and what do you hope to accomplish?
I have been on the school board since 2016. Like I said, I am currently the board chair, and it's been a privilege to be the voice of the board and the community while working to ensure that all those involved keep the students as the top priority. My current and future goals of the board would be that we all can continue to work together, along with I would like to join with the city. I'm on multiple committees with the board, which some are required and some are volunteer that I've decided to be on over the last 8 years. And I've continued my board education every year as up to date as I can possibly be on all of the rules and the policies state and locally.
All right, we'll let you go next.
Okay. Again, like Nicole, I've been on the board for 2 terms, so that those 8 years have really given us a lot of experience that is useful to continue to guide and help guide the district. I feel like I'm a very open-minded, collaborative person, working with a lot of different groups, and I take pride in my ability to work with whoever it is. We may not agree. We may completely agree, and you need both of those perspectives. And I think I work well with all perspectives. I've learned not to take things personally. You have to have a little bit of a thick skin when you're in the public eye, so that's important. As far as accomplishments, continuing to help the district move forward. That's really our goal. With all the things that we've learned over the last 8 years, is using that knowledge to help the district move forward in many different areas.
All right, and Aaron, same question.
Well, I was a field rep for 10 years with Seneca Foods, working with some of the toughest people you're ever going to work with. Jimmy John was one of my growers. So when you got to work with farmers, you develop a thick skin. I was also president of the Emmanuel Lutheran Church congregation for 10 years, and that introduced me to dealing with interesting people. And also, we were in a tough financial position, and we had to figure out how to balance increasing expenses with decreasing revenues. Some things that interest me about being on the school board is the infrastructure upgrades that everybody knows we need. It's just, how do we get there? And I would also like to see trade-based skills in the schools, more offerings for them. That's it.
All right, thank you. On to question number 3, and Will, we'll start with you on this one. What do you see as the current opportunities facing education in Stewartville?
Opportunities, challenges, sometimes the same thing, right? I feel like some of our facilities have opportunities and challenges, but not all of them. The staff's done an amazing job over the many years to maintain them as best as possible, but despite that, time has taken its toll on one particular building that has been kind of a hot topic over the last several years. Another thing that is an opportunity and yet a challenge for the district is some new legislation called the READ Act that is making the staff, all staff, do some additional training. And that training is good. Teaching kids how to read is important. But this particular legislation is creating a challenge in the way that they're implementing it, and the schools had to work hard at figuring that out because they are losing some contact days.
All right, and Aaron, same question. What do you see as current opportunities facing education in Stewartville?
Obviously, recruiting and maintaining talent is a huge topic. You got to keep your teachers. If you don't keep your teachers, you don't have a school. I also think we need to provide opportunities for students other than the 4-year track. When I was in school 25 plus years ago, go to college, go to college, go to college. Well, there's a lot of jobs out there that don't need to go to college, and you can make a pretty good living. And I think we need to offer those as opportunities to students.
All right. Did you have something to add on that, Nicole?
No, I'm just ready.
Oh, just ready. Okay.
I'm next, right?
You didn't raise your hand, so I wasn't sure. All right.
I will raise my hand.
Actually, Aaron's going to lead off on question 4. We're doing a
But
little.
I didn't go.
She didn't go that
Oh, you didn't go. I'm sorry.
So I was ready. I'm going to go
I
with
got
question 3
confused. That's
and talk
on me.
about.
Go ahead.
Okay. I believe that there are a lot of issues facing education, but they're not all unique to Stewartville. They're alone and all across the state. I want to continue to gain community input for our facilities and what the next step should be for those facilities. And I want to continue ongoing development of positive behavior expectations across our district for our students and also our staff. We want them to be happy to come to work as well.
All right. Thank you for that. You're welcome. So now we'll go to question 4. My bad. And Aaron, we'll start with you. Are there any issues you believe the district needs to address in its academic programs and offerings? And sounds like you'd like to see some changes. So what would you like to recommend?
As I stated before, I think trade-based opportunities. I mean, ag class is where I learned how to weld. I think kids need options. That's about all I have.
All right. Nicole, what issues do you believe the district needs to address in its academic program and offerings?
So I think that in the schools, we need to continue to access college credit courses that keep the students on our campus and that are taught by our teachers, instead of having those students venture out. And I believe that the training the teachers for the READ Act, which Mr. Welch already addressed, takes 4 contact days away from our students for the next 4 years, and it's required by a state law, and it's a lot of work. But we have a plan. It's just an issue that the district has to deal with. And then also I want to make sure our programs have all the students' interest. Just like Aaron said, we do have welding, we do have shop. We just want to make sure that we have hands-on classes that interest both male and females for jobs that could be in the trades and not necessarily in the college field.
All right. Will, same question.
Many of the programs that we have are doing very well, and I don't think there are a lot of opportunities for some of the programs we have. Many of the programs we have, but like Nicole said, getting more kids into our into the classes without having to go to, for example, go to RCTC for some classes, bringing those kids the options to stay in the building. I think that would be a positive thing. The opportunities that Aaron speaks of, I 100% agree. The challenge with that, though, is getting the kids' interests, having enough kids to be able to support that programming with some of the financial challenges and the financial requirements that go along with that.
All right. Nicole, we'll start with you now for this next question. It's about open enrollment. What are your viewpoints on it, where it stands today for the school district versus where you would like to see it?
So, open enrollment allows our school to offer programmings that wouldn't be possible without the students that we gain through open enrollment. Higher student population means more money, which means more classes that we can offer. The board monitors open enrollment very closely on a monthly basis to ensure that our classrooms do not get overcrowded. Some grades have caps, and they are capped right now. Next month, that grade might have availability to take in another student. And we have waiting lists for every grade to get more students in here. Well, I shouldn't say that. Kindergarten, I think, was the only one that we could have maybe got more students in. But I believe that along with the board in maintaining a balance between resident students and open enrolled students, we will maintain our programs and opportunities that are available for all students.
All right. Will, your thoughts on open enrollment?
Open enrollment is it's a necessary thing for Stewartville schools. And the percentage has been pretty consistent, I'd say, over the years. And like Nicole said, bringing in, right now we have about 385 kids coming in and about 100 or so going out. So you're netting about a couple hundred kids coming in. And that's a lot of income and a lot of dollars that are supporting teachers, that are supporting programs, that are vital for the rest of the student body. It shows that our schools are desirable. It shows that kids and parents and families want to come to Stewartville. So having open enrollment is essential for our school, and we do monitor very closely, and it's a moving target sometimes on what grades are open, what are closed, continually monitored, and the school does a great job at that.
All right, and Aaron, your thoughts?
I don't have a problem with open enrollment. Like has been stated, it's a great way to increase your student population. Increase in student population means more money. More money means more opportunities. I was unaware of how much the school board monitors how many students come in. I personally thought it was kind of a floating target. It helps the school district. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Oh, Nicole has something to add. Go ahead.
For those of you listening and that are here that heard Mr. Welch say that we have 100 students going out, I don't want people to think that they're going out I want you to know that they're going out for reasons where they may need more needs than Stewartville's able to offer. So maybe they're going to an alternative school to get those needs met. And it was a decision that was decided by the district and obviously their parents to help them get the education that they need.
All right. We'll move on to a fun topic of teacher turnover rates. We know that that rate has risen all across the country, especially post-COVID. People who want to be in teaching it's down, right? So we'll start with you. What is your plan to retain and attract teachers to Stewartville?
Okay, so getting some data from at least the last couple years, post-COVID, if we want to call it that, our turnover rate for our teachers has been pretty consistent over the last 2 to 5 years, roughly in the 20% range, which is kind of on average with state averages. So I'd say we're in a pretty good position. Some of those happen natural. Some of that turnover is natural with any employer, any job. In Stewartville, one of the things that is important is we have great principals in our buildings. And what those principals do is they work very hard to not only educate our kids, but build a solid culture in our schools. Those 5 principals do a great job of that, and that does help retain staff. It helps attract staff because they want to be in these spaces that they can see great culture.
All right, Aaron, same question.
I think teachers need reasons beyond monetary compensation to come to a school district. So opportunities, professional opportunities. That said, you also need a paycheck. That costs school money. So, and it's a tough decision. So having a good financial compensation, and then I've always been told people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. If you have a good boss, which from my understanding and what I've seen, I drove bus for Grissom's for 5 years. There's some really good principals here. And if we can continue to support the principals, they can support their teachers, and hopefully we can reduce teacher turnover.
And Nicole, your thoughts?
Teacher turnover is hard. As Mr. Welch said, the percentage, we did the math, and I believe there's always a survey when someone leaves asking them why. And most of the time it's job change or moving out of town or something like that. But what I want to say is our district worked really hard to raise the starting wage for new teachers so that we're competitive with surrounding districts. We have a fantastic onboarding program that supports new teachers, and we offer support to all teachers to make sure they are happy working side by side with the administration and other teachers, and they are happy to be a Tiger.
All right, so kind of in the same vein here, topic of teacher contract negotiations. Aaron, we'll start with you on this one, but how do you feel those negotiations can be handled in the future to ensure success for both parties?
Long story short, I think both parties need to come to the table with realistic expectations. I don't know a whole lot about what went on with the last teacher contract negotiating beyond what I read in the paper, and it sounded difficult. I think both sides kind of dug their heels in, and nobody was willing to budge until it came down to the last second. And whatever, it is what it is, but I think both sides need to be realistic. It's always been said, the sign of a true compromise is neither side's happy.
Nicole, same question.
I was on the negotiation board and have been for quite some time. And negotiations are always tough, no matter what side you're on. So the options that the district has to raise revenue are through two paths. We have state aid and we have operating levy. And the operating levy increases taxes by the property owners in our district. So if we want, okay, how do I say this? If we want to raise what we pay the teachers and our staff, we might have to go out for an operating levy. And that makes things tough to cover salaries. So, and every employee in our district is under a contract. We have 4 union contracts. We have agreements with 10 other employee groups, 4 vendor contracts, and all are negotiating packages within the financial band that we have to offer. And it's usually every other year. Oh, I have 5 seconds. It is a challenge to offer increases in raises and benefits when the district does not receive enough revenue to cover all of the costs.
All right. Should beat the stop sign. Will, go ahead.
Yeah, I can only speak from the board's position on this matter, of course. But like Aaron said, the last one was difficult. And if all you heard was what you heard in the paper, I can see where that opinion would be there, that it was difficult. I'd say within the question, success is an interesting word when it comes to this particular topic. Not sure really either side is really ever successful in it. Getting through it sometimes may be the only success, but both sides have to give a little, and I think that might be successful when and if both sides give a little. I think if the rules of the negotiation are adhered to, I'd say that is success. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
All right. So Nicole, we'll start with you on this one. Still talking about money. What are your thoughts on the current and proposed budget for the school district?
The budget reflects the priorities that we have within the school district. The largest expense in the budget are for personnel and services that are provided directly into the classroom. The financial team is excellent to make sure that we stay within our financial means. And the word proposed is significant when people read the budget because oftentimes areas do change when we go to approve the final budget.
All right, Will, your thoughts.
Yeah, one of those things that changes is the enrollment numbers when it comes to the budget. The budget is based on a certain, you have this many kids, this is how much aid you're going to get, or how much money you're going to get to pay all the bills, and that's an uneasy position to be in when you are dependent on the number of kids in the building to pay all the bills, and we already have all the staff, we already have all the services. It's kind of a really interesting spot to be in. I don't think I can give our business manager enough praise on the work that he's done over the years to put the school in as good of a financial position as it can be. And if you've seen meetings where Mr. Schrader has presented the budget, preliminary, adjusted, audits and whatnot, you'd see how thorough he is. You'd see how much care he takes in creating a good budget for our district to keep in mind the taxpayer dollars.
All right, thank you. And then Aaron, your thoughts on the current and proposed budget for the school district?
I haven't seen the budget. I don't know what the budget is. I don't know what the old budget is, so I don't feel it would be appropriate for me to have any comments about a budget that I have not seen.
Nicole, you'd like to speak up?
Yeah, just not to put Aaron in the spotlight by any means, but all of those records are available via the school website under the school board tab. So if anyone wants to see what the proposed budget is, what the last year's was, and continuing, they're all available via the website.
I did not know that.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure that anyone listening knew.
Yeah, I think that can be kind of one of those mysteries too. Not everybody knows that is open, so thank you for bringing that up. Financial nerds like myself love that stuff, but not everyone's like me. So we'll move on here with speaking of the budget, and if there are shortfalls, we'll start with you on this question. How can we expand in the areas of engineering, robotics, technology, and trades, knowing that shortfalls in the budget might be a part of that equation?
Yeah, challenges. Again, going back to opportunities and challenges. If the pessimistic side is, it says if we don't have enough money, how can we expand programming? When we just have to be a little bit more basic with our spending if we only have basic spending money. So there are definitely some challenges. There to expand on the areas mentioned, looking at grant opportunities, looking at partnerships with local businesses, alumni, things of that nature could develop some partnerships to help support some of those programs.
Aaron, same question.
Yeah, as Mr. Welch said, it's the age-old question: wants versus needs versus how much money do you have. I had some of the same thoughts: as can we find some businesses to partner with to give some money for these programs? The football boosters provide a lot of money for the football team. Maybe we can, I don't know, med labs or something like that. Just anybody that can help.
And Nicole, your thoughts?
Speaking to the subjects that you listed, one of them was the STEAM program, and I just have to say how proud I am because the solar suitcase project that the seventh graders did made national news. So that is huge for our class to have that, and I think going along with that, those teachers are using those resources for grants and other things that they can get into the classroom to help students engage in those types of subjects. And we have ongoing plans to train teachers to continue the opportunities in the classroom, and they are always looking for new things. And with talking about local businesses, Helcon, I believe it was Helcon, that just donated a whole bunch of wood to our shop class. So that was really nice of them to do that. So I believe that there's opportunities there. We just might need to engage more.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Aaron, we'll start with you on this question. How would you, this is a doozy, so good thing we got these ahead of time, right? How would you as a district board member help to increase the community's perception on the needs of the district in order to move forward and succeed in passing a building referendum?
Rip the Band-Aid off right there, why don't you? Most people I've talked to, and I live out in the country, I have a pretty small group of people I talk to, they don't support building a building. There's no two ways about it. They don't support it. I think most of them would support the upgrades because they realize that if you don't keep maintaining your stuff, eventually you're going to have nothing. I think, this is just me, should focus on let's do these upgrades, and if we can't get a building, take the win that we can get. And the other thing I've heard, if class sizes are decreasing, why do we need a building?
All right, Nicole, your thoughts.
I need longer than a minute.
You can raise your hand and get an extra 30 seconds. That's the hack on that.
So we need solutions in order to provide our students with updated science labs, to be able to provide them with a learning opportunity that will allow them to be competitive in pursuing postgraduate career or college. Those are one of my number one issues that needs help. First, when we went out for a referendum, we had tours of our buildings and info sessions with the community. The second time when we went out for a referendum, we went to the voters and asked them, what do you want? We sent postcards to every house and we did a survey. We need the community to tell us what they want. When is the right time? Everyone keeps saying it's not the right time. It's not the right time. Well, something big is going to happen if we don't do something soon. And I mean that like in my mom voice. The residents need to decide what we're going to do about the Central Education Center. It's 100 years old. I just need one more second. Can I have one more second?
Yep, go ahead.
Along with what Aaron said about upgrades, the thing that I want people to understand is the word upgrade is hard and tricky in education, because if you take that door out, you have to replace it with a door. You can't build a bigger door and a wall. It has to be a door for a door, a window for a window. So if you're doing upgrades, that's what it has to be. We're talking total remodels. They're different. So I just want everyone to understand that. Okay, I'm done with my
All right.
loud voice.
Will, your turn.
Yeah, the perception of need is it's an interesting thing, because we had people when Nicole mentioned bringing people into our facilities and showing them what it was all about. We had people that were looking at the same thing with two different perceptions of what they were seeing, and that's a challenging thing to get by. It's just tricky. The first, like Nicole said, we brought people to our spaces to check it out. And then the second time we went to the people in the community to inform them of what we were thinking. Both times prior to that, getting engagement as much as we could. Jimmy John said it earlier, where sending out thousands of postcards and getting 250 back is a success. When we're talking about the schools and the kids, we need, just like the city wants more than that, we want more than that too. We need more than that. We just need to continue to be open-minded, and sharing the issues with the public, and getting feedback.
All right. Thank you. Next question. We'll move on from the building here unless you want to address it again. What are the top 3 changes or improvements you would like to see in our school system? Nicole, we'll start with you.
I liked what Brent said earlier about changes and hope. I like the word hope. So my hope is that we can continue to have financial stability year after year, provide curricular experiences in our facilities that are up to date for all of our students, and that will prepare all of them for their futures, whether it's college after high school or going into the trades, or maybe they haven't decided and they're just going to wait and work in a career for a while and then go to education after that. And the third thing I would like is high quality workforce in all of the positions throughout the district. And I'm talking from bottom to top. I want people happy to come and work at our schools.
All right. Thank you. Will, same question.
Okay, top 3 changes or improvements. Continuing to work on the facilities. Every year we do something, and that has to continue. Eventually, one of those somethings is going to have to be something big, and we got to figure that out. Growing enrollment. I hope that is something that we see in the future. With growing enrollment, that will offer some of that financial stability that makes it easier to operate. The school isn't a business, but there are elements of it that are a business. So being able to run the business efficiently. Thirdly, improving relationships between the schools and the city of Stewartville and the cities that we operate in. I think one of the council folks mentioned it earlier. One of the panelists prior said building some of those relationships, I think, would be mutually beneficial.
All right. And Aaron, top 3 changes or improvements you'd like to see in our school system?
I'm going to annoy Nicole here because I'm going to use the word upgrade again, because you can say remodel, I say upgrade. In my mind, it's the same thing, because in my world it is. The school needs remodeling or upgrades. Whatever word you want to use, it needs it. There's no doubt about it. Being selfish, I didn't vote for the school last referendum because I didn't want my taxes to go up. But I recognize that they need the upgrades. We need to provide students with a wide variety of options to figure out what they want. If that's 4 years, if that's trades, if that's enter your choice here. And then, like Mr. Welch said, we need to maintain high quality employees. That costs money. So we have to get the voters to recognize that we need money to operate.
All right. We go ahead, Nicole. You have 30 seconds.
Well, no, I know we're done. So I just wanted to say thank you and that I was.
Well, we're gonna
we
ask
got
them.
questions. Oh, yeah.
We might be done.
me in the hot
We might not be done. We do have our audience here.
Sorry.
And yep, I did get a question emailed to me when this started, so we can go ahead and ask that as well. But does anybody in the audience have a question they would like to ask? Go ahead.
I came to the school board meeting, as you remember, way back in March. I don't know.
Yep.
Because in the wintertime, I walk in the schools. So my question is, probably not really pertaining to this, but it is to the money part of it. Because when I'm walking in school, there's that one light on 250, whatever that number is, where there's lots of lights that stand 24/7. It's not in a classroom, it's just in an office. And I was told by the janitor, that happens in a lot of, in all the schools, where lights are on 24 hours a day, no students, no staff in the building, in that room. Have you been able to address that, why that is? And, because there's no light switch in it, because I went in one night because it was open. I just want to see for myself if there's a light switch. There is none. There's the outlets on the wall, but they cover the plate, but there's no switch to turn it on or off. Is there a reason why those lights stay on like that? Does anybody know?
Anybody want to
Anybody looked into it?
tackle that? So for those watching at home, in case they can't hear without the microphone, question is around lights in the school being on 24/7 in certain areas of, and is this central or is this at the high school?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. So
Well, I was there when you came to the meeting, which thank you for coming, because they're open. Anyone can come anytime. So I thank you for coming. And I remember the question, and I don't remember the response that you got, but I know that I wasn't the one to ask. It was going to get looked into. So and I don't know.
Have you been back since?
No, because I don't know when the meetings are.
No, to the school to see the lights.
No,
Okay.
Okay.
but I plan to be there now when it gets cold.
Okay.
Yes. So if the school board meetings are listed on the website under the school board tab for the whole year, and then this on Mondays, and I would say it's the second and the last Monday, but it's not always, because like this next Monday there's a holiday, so that's why we don't have a meeting. So go on the website and look. But the second meeting of the month at 6:15 is what we have community comment, and I believe that's what you came to. So that's always the second meeting of the month at 6:15.
yeah, go ahead, Will.
I'll ask the question again, and we'll get back to you.
Yes.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Kind of sounds like these rooms need occupancy sensors.
They have.
They are. They have. It's a motion type thing that, when I walk, it's dark. When I get there, then the light pops on. But I don't know how long that stays on either. But in this room, there is no sensor, it just stays on.
Maybe it needs an occupancy sensor.
I think so too. Because over time, that has to add up to a lot of money.
We'll ask.
Are there any other questions from members of the audience? If not, the email I got earlier today, so they were after deadline. I know sometimes teachers accept work when it's late, though, as well, so I thought I would channel the teacher spirit around this. Do you agree that personal finance literacy should be mandatory? And if so, what age would you start teaching it? Will, we'll have you go first on that one.
Personal finance literacy.
What age
Yes.
would you
And
start?
what age would you start?
As a parent or as a school? Because I think
As
it
a
would
school.
probably start to some degree before a child gets to school.
I started with my kids when they were about 3.
So
I'm weird.
To that
so.
point, I think there's a balance between what a school's responsible for and what a parent should be responsible for too. I think there's definitely a balance there. Personal finance should be, to some degree, offered in schools. What that personal finance has changed over the years. Teaching a kid to write a check, that's some of what we think about. but that's just not reality anymore. My 19-year-old daughter, I had to show her how to write a check.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
I bet. Yeah.
but I filled out most of it for her. But yeah, some elements of that, absolutely.
All right, Aaron, your thoughts.
I wasn't going to touch this because it kind of felt like parents should be doing it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of kids coming out don't have any common sense about how the world works. And their parents aren't teaching them. So yeah, I think once you're a freshman in school, you should probably start learning how to balance a checkbook, pay your bills. You can't just rely on your bank statement and magically hope that there's money in your account. You got to pay attention to things.
All right, Nicole, your thoughts.
We do have a personal finance class in the high school. I believe my daughter took it when she was a junior, but it is an elective. It is not required. I agree with both of the gentlemen up here that it is something that should start at home, and it can start at a young age. I mean, you get $10 for your birthday, half of it goes into savings, and half of it you can spend. I mean, you can start it any way you want at home. I will embarrass my daughter and say I had to teach her how to address an envelope when she did her invites for her senior party because they don't know. Oh, that's fine. She's probably not watching. But things that we need to address as parents maybe isn't so much as balancing a checkbook anymore, where it's just looking at your account, taking into account what you've spent versus what's coming in. Credit cards. Let's teach our kids about credit cards and what credit card debt can do to them. Let's talk about interest rates on loans. Let's teach them those type of things, as well as writing a check, but I do believe checks kind of are going to be a thing of the past. I hate to say that. I still write them. Oh, okay. I'll close. In closing, I'll just say that we do have a personal finance class. However, it is not required. It is an elective. So your child can choose to take it when they get at the high school level.
Thanks for working through the horn on that.
No problem.
I promised no horn, no anger, but here we are. We do have another question from the audience, so go ahead.
How do you change that to make it a mandatory class?
Me?
Go for it.
Okay.
Sure. Whoever wants to
I'm
talk
going to
about it.
answer it to as much as I know. And I'm just going to say this is what I think because I want to make sure that I'm correct. That would be a curriculum question, but it would also have to be approved by the state because there are so many credits that a child has to have to graduate. So it would have to fall under like those certain categories. And by having it an elective, it has to get enough kids in interest too. But if it was required, obviously they would have to go. But it would have to replace another required class or be incorporated into another required class, which could very well be something that we could do. But I don't think it could be a year-long or class by itself. I think it would have to be incorporated in with another class, like economics or business management or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But it would have to be state approved to be required.
Either you want to add
I
anything to that?
Nicole said.
All right.
Tying it in with another class, I think, would be an excellent idea. If that's your civics class, if that's a math class, or compounding interest is nasty.
Or good if it's on your side, right?
You know, I'm still struggling with that one.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? Hearing none, we've got a little extra time, so I would just ask each candidate to kind of give a closing statement. We know we only have 3 people going for 3 spots, so I think your odds are pretty good. But if there were anything that wasn't covered this evening, I'd like to give you a chance to just speak to that. So, yeah, Aaron, why don't you go ahead and go first?
As you can tell, I am not nearly as polished as these other 2. My day I spend with pigs majority of the time, and I work for myself. I have a joke. My employees, as the boss, my employees really are kind of challenging. And as the employee, my boss has a lot to learn. That being said, I have a lot to learn on this. So, yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. And I'm hoping I'm hoping I can bring something to the table with my experience.
All right, Nicole.
Thank you for that. I really look forward to working with Mr. Welch again and learning more about Aaron and working with him for the next 4 years. I have really enjoyed my time on the board. I have learned a lot. I'm going to tell you, it takes the first 4 years to learn how it all works. And then the next 4 years, you use what you learn to try and do the best that you can for the community and always, 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 number one, the students and the staff. You learn a lot those first few months about how you may think that you have big ideas, but so much of it is decided by the state. So it's very important by who we vote in at the upper level. And I'm not going to get political, but I'm just going to say that. Because those are the people that decide how the school district is run. And then us at the table do the best that we can locally with what we're given.
And Will? Go ahead.
Thanks again, Chamber, for putting this on. It's always a great event. I've been honored to be elected to this seat twice now, and I'm looking forward to the third time. The first 4 years is learning. The second 4 years is doing. And I'm truly hopeful that this next 4 years will be very positive and really moving. Hold on. Really moving the district forward in a lot of different ways. Are there going to be challenges? Yes. And I am looking forward to working with the community and the school, the teacher, the administration, and the public to find out what's best for Stewartville and make the schools even more successful part of the community.
All right. Well, thank you all. That concludes our candidate open forum. Again, Election Day is on November 5th. Again, want to thank the candidates for coming here tonight, putting yourself out there, and putting yourselves on the ballot. We needed at least 3 people to sign up for these 3 spots. This is important work that you will likely be doing. Thanks to everyone in attendance this evening. Thank you to people, as Jimmy John said, out in TV world watching us as well. Thank you to Alicia Nelson, our timekeeper, and all other board members from the chamber who helped get this evening put together. So we say good night. Go out and vote November 5th. Thank you.